Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Swallowed Star based on novel. So let's start. The 9 levels of whirlpool power combined with each other, and they started to swallow everything. The black blood from the blade light immediately became curves under the strength from the waves. It was immediately swallowed by one of the tower doors of Star Tower. After all, even Sector Beast Morosa itself could barely stand straight, so its blood couldn't just run away. Blood of Sector Beast. Luo Feng rejoiced in his heart. I've studied the life structures, so I need the blood and skins of great beings. I've obtained lots of blood and skins from the world of Jinn, and they're of great help. However, I keep being stuck at 89,999 times, and I just can't surpass this final step. I hope that the blood of Sector Beasts can help. Luo Feng was looking forward to it, but then he put all those thoughts behind him. Studying blood and understanding life structures were the worries in the future, but now, the most important thing was to kill the Sector Beast. There was a hole in the broken chest of Sector Beast Morosa. Black blood dripped, but the wound immediately recovered. Sector Beast Morosa stared at Luo Feng in the distance and roared, "Ever since I've entered level 3, other than Bei Di, no one has been able to make me bleed. No one. Despicable creature from Universe Ocean, you've really crossed me. Other than Bei Di, I want you dead more than anyone else. I will kill you. Kill you." Thoughts flooded Luo Feng's mind. Entered level 3? There were different levels of Sector Beasts. Bei Di? There wasn't a true god called Bei Di in Universe Ocean. Was that Bei Di also a Sector Beast? Luo Feng's mind could work quickly, and tens of millions of thoughts flooded his mind at the same time, but it was actually close to the actual fact. Despicable creature from Universe Ocean? Aren't you a life form from Universe Ocean? Luo Feng sneered and rushed at Sector Beast again. You want me dead? Then I'll kill you now. Luo Feng moved so quickly that it was as if he'd disappeared. Golden waves showed up around him, enveloping Sector Beast Morosa, who couldn't even manage to dodge it. The endless blade waves kept tumbling, madly consuming the strength of that Sector Beast, making the Sector Beast weaker and weaker. No. Stop it, Milky Way Horde leader. Sector Beast Morosa suddenly yelled. Why should I stop? The voice of Sector Beast Morosa came out from the golden waves ocean around it. He kept yelling, "Don't push me. I'll tell you again. Don't push me. If you keep pushing me, there's no way to mitigate the relationship between us. We'll literally fight to the death. We're already fighting to the death." A voice came from the golden waves, and the endless blade waves were still weakening the power of Sector Beast Morosa, who had already lost half of its power since the beginning of this fight. Okay, human. Both the soul eyes on Sector Beast Morosa's heads looked desperate, and it yelled, "It's you. You took away my chance to become the king forever. It's because of you. You." Luo Feng, who kept making attacks, felt something wrong. Burn. The Sector Beast Morosa yelled in agony. How painful it was. It was angrier than a warrior having his arms cut off. Black tears welled up out of both the singular eyes on the 2 heads of Sector Beast Morosa. It looked ferocious, mad, upset. Suddenly, an explosive sound came from the body of the Sector Beast Morosa, and an invisible strength rushed out of its body, blasting Luo Feng away. At the same time, gleaming, colorful light rushed out of Sector Beast Morosa's body. The colorful light was dazzling. It contained all the beautiful colors Luo Feng had ever seen, millions of times more amazing than a rainbow. Gleaming, colorful light rushed out of the body of Sector Beast Morosa. What? Luo Feng felt intimidated. The power from the rainbow wasn't strong. However, Luo Feng could clearly feel that the control over the void space under his technique single thought void space was weakened, and to be exact, another willpower was fighting for the controlling right of this void space. Single thought void space was true control, and it wasn't bestowed by the original mind. Absolute control. Under his complete control, teleportation, transportation, and the other skills were all banned. If someone wanted to fight with him for the right of control, and that person needed to know single thought void space, then those with better skills would be able to control space. Or if someone became an eternal true God, and a universe could be formed with only one thought. Then it was definitely easier to get the control right. However, the colorful light coming out of the sector beast's body was trying to seize the right of control over the space. It was gleaming, breathtaking. It was as if it were the most beautiful color in the entire universe. The streaks of light formed a magical portal, and the colorful portals were trembling. Apparently, under the suppression from single thought void space, it seemed like it was going to crumble at any time. The colorful portal couldn't pierce through the area of single thought void space. Burn again. Sector Beast Morosa yelled painfully. Human, you're going to regret this. I've spent an eternity reaching level 3, yet you pushed me back to level 1. I'll avenge myself. I will avenge myself. I'll make you regret this. Dense, colorful light rushed out of its body again, merging with the colorful light portal. This was control over time. Luo Feng's whirlpool world couldn't do anything about it, so only single thought void space was able to suppress it. At this moment, Sector Beast Morosa was so weak, and its force was negligible. Luo Feng even felt that he could literally kill the Sector Beast Morosa with one move. However, the gleaming, colorful light was covering Sector Beast Morosa, but he couldn't make attacks and break the colorful portal, so he could only use one thought void space to suppress it. Break. Luo Feng kept the suppression from single mind void space, and at the same time, he was also attacking those colorful light portals. The portal was trembling as if it would crumble at any time. Sector Beast Morosa turned into a stream of light and suddenly disappeared through the colorful portal. Just as it disappeared, the colorful light portals disintegrated completely. Then they turned into nothing. There weren't battle ripples in the space anymore, and only Whirlpool World and Single Thought Void Space could maintain it. Luo Feng stood in space, finding it hard to believe. The Sector Beast still managed to run away, even while he was at an absolute advantage. Take it back. Luo Feng waved his hands, and all of a sudden, both Whirlpool World and One Thought Void Space disappeared. I've failed. I've failed again. Luo Feng shook his head. He used his best power this time for the fight. Besides, great beings like Divine Eye True Master and Primal Chaos City Leader all knew that it was the Star Tower team, so perhaps many true gods in Universe Ocean looked forward to the result. The failure last time was already a huge blow to Universe Ocean. The failure this time was definitely a nightmare for Universe Ocean. Under Space Seal and One Thought Void Space, how did it use a technique like wormholes and teleportation to leave instantly? Luo Feng was confused. Although it looks like a wormhole, it was more like a universe portal. Both God Country transportation and space transportation could transport someone from one spot to another instantly. Only universe portals were like portals. That colorful light was a portal. Besides, after repeated fights with the Sector Beast, I've injured it twice, and 9 remoteness also injured it greatly. However, it was able to recover so soon, Luo Feng thought. It was put in an impasse. Half of its energy was consumed, and it had used its endless bloody light for a long time. It seems it didn't want to use the last step, colorful light portal. Besides, it kept threatening me. It wanted to negotiate or threaten me, but it just didn't want to use that move. Luo Feng could tell that Sector Beast Morosa was in agony when it was performing that colorful light portal, and he could tell the madness and craziness and desperation from the yelling. It also said that it was going back to level 1 from level 3. Luo Feng was thinking, level 3? From level 3, nobody had been able to make it bleed other than Bei Di? That must have meant that Sector Beast Morosa had already entered level 3 while in the nest of Sector Beasts. Although it had swallowed many origins of miniature universes in Universe Ocean, it was still at level 3. Level 3? Luo Feng thought. It might have fought and eaten other Sector Beasts in the nest to improve its power. Does that mean only by eating Sector Beasts he can improve his power to level 3? Is that a fundamental change? It said that it was going back to level 1 from level 3. That must be the price it has to pay to perform that colorful light portal. Luo Feng understood now. Level 3 meant the extent to which Sector Beasts had grown. And to grow like that, Sector Beasts needed to swallow other Sector Beasts to grow, as they were the core energies of sector beasts. As for other powers during the fight, it could recover over time even if it was greatly consumed. However, the core strength couldn't be recovered. Otherwise, sector beast Morosa wouldn't have gone mad. An ugly sector beast showed up in the chaos airspace in the distance. Sector beast Morosa wasn't as confident as before anymore. It was weak, sad, and desperate. When 1 trillion sector beasts were born, everyone was only at level 1. I am only one of them. I've been trying and struggling and eating other sector beasts. I've eaten all the other powerful sector beasts and entered level 2 and entered level 3. Even Bay Di is only at level 3. If I can swallow enough origins of miniature universes and reach the pinnacle level at level 3, I'll be able to become the ultimate king. However, I've returned to the status of a newborn. Sector beast Morosa thought that coming to Universe Ocean would be a great opportunity to him, yet it was a disaster. First stage of a newborn. I have regressed by 1 stage. What should I do? Sector beast Morosa was in agony. It was a highly ambitious sector beast, so even within its own nest, it would be the one standing at the peak. The only thing that could instill some fear in it was the most powerful sector beast, Betty. Other than Betty, there was nothing else it feared. Betty was also fully aware that only those like Morosa, who had crossed over to the 3rd stage, were a threat to it. It kept a watchful eye over the fights and devouring activities of these 3rd stage beings. Regressing to the 1st stage, the powerful strength that I originally possessed would immediately disperse. I am forced to fall all the way to the 1st stage, though it was the pinnacle 1st stage. Sector beast Morosa was pondering. It might have been severely injured by Luo Feng's killer moves, but the remaining amount of power still far exceeded the power range of the 1st stage. If it could not bear with it, it would naturally disperse. Now, it was at the pinnacle 1st stage. For the sector beast's nest, this level of power was considered to be power at the bottommost level. I still have a chance, still have the final glimmer of chance, sector beast Morosa said to itself. There is only a handful of sector beasts within the nest that have crossed over to the 3rd stage. The majority are in the 2nd stage. As for those in the pinnacle 1st stage, maybe there are, maybe there aren't. And even if there are, they must be hiding somewhere, living their lives quietly as they resigned themselves to their circumstances. My power is very close to the 2nd stage. Besides, I am Morosa, a sector beast who stands at the pinnacle. Sensing a hint of my aura from afar, the others would feel scared. They are unaware of the fact that I have become weak. Many thoughts were racing through sector beast Morosa's mind as he contemplated his action plan. For instance, when 2 weaker sector beasts were fighting one another, it could wait until the later stage of the fight, when one party was about to emerge as victor. Then it would exude its aura from afar, scare the winning party away, and kill the losing party instead. Even the losing party in its state of severe injuries would most likely be more powerful than Morosa. I must give it a try and fight on. I am now at pinnacle 1st stage. I just need to eat 1 sector beast from the 2nd stage. I will be able to move up to the 2nd stage right away. Even if vying to be the ultimate king was impossible, there was still the possibility of threatening Universe Ocean. Sector beast Morosa quickly pondered over the situation to come up with its plan. If I fail, I will divulge the secret of devouring the origins of miniature universes to speedily increase one's powers. Milky Way Horde Leader. I will be back. Sector beast Morosa's 2 heads looked toward the primal universe before it instantly teleported and disappeared. After the battle with sector beast Morosa, Luo Feng also boarded Star Tower and headed back to the primal universe. After all, he had gotten what he was after through this battle, the blood of a sector beast. Naturally, it would have to be brought back to the primal universe for his remote ocean to analyze and study. Perhaps this time, he would be able to surpass the last step and achieve a breakthrough where the life gene level of his godly body would exceed 90,000 times. Standing inside Star Tower, Luo Feng, garbed in a suit of white robe, sighed gently. Beside him were Hong and Fire Dome. The two had witnessed the entire battle. After the battle ended, Luo Feng also let them in on some detailed information, so they were clear about the entire process. We are in trouble. Luo Feng shook his head. This battle was fought by my team on Star Tower. I'm afraid many true gods of Universe Ocean have already caught wind of the news. The various races of Universe Ocean are already devoid of endurance against attacks. But this time, I have failed to kill Sector Beast. I think this might cause the various races of Universe Ocean to collapse. Hong said, Luo Feng, do not overtax yourself. You have already done enough. Besides, didn't you say so yourself? That Sector Beast has been banished back to the first stage from its original third stage. Its power is now very, very weak. The chances of it restoring itself to full power is almost impossible. Any true god who is just a tad more powerful would be able to annihilate it. Luo Feng shook his head, saying that it would be unable to restore its power. That was purely my personal conjecture. I have deduced that it will need to devour other sector beasts in order to advance to the second stage and eventually into the third stage. However, these are purely deductions. Although it is very easy to kill right now, it is highly unlikely for that sector beast to show itself when it is vulnerable. It will remain in hiding as it gradually regains its power while also thinking of ways to increase its power. When it shows up again, it will certainly be even more difficult to handle than before. Hong and Fire Dome both gave slight nods. Fair enough. Any living being with some degree of wisdom would think likewise. When weak and small, it was a natural reaction to go into hiding. Teacher, no matter what, at least for a short period of time, that sector beast will not reappear, Fire Dome said. Luo Feng nodded slightly and said with a sigh, all right, I have to go and send out this piece of news. I truly don't know. How would the various true gods of the Universe Ocean react the moment they caught wind of this news? Within an individual plane surface that solely belonged to Luo Feng, on the public square before a palace that was suspended in the air of the primal universe, more than 50 true gods had gathered together from the ancestral god school, the human race, the various races of the Hong Alliance, and the Space Beast Alliance. The true gods were all discussing things via voice transmissions, as no one dared to make a single utterance out loud for fear of distracting Luo Feng, who was sitting before them cross-legged. This time, during the battle with the Sector Beast, the team on Star Tower was much stronger than the team on the vessel. It will definitely be able to annihilate that Sector Beast. That Sector Beast deserves nothing more than death. The true gods were all waiting with apprehension. They all felt as though they were facing a life-and-death situation. More on point, it was a situation that made them even more nervous than a life-and-death situation. The Sector Beast was a threat to everything they had sought to protect. If there was no longer anyone who was able to stop this Sector Beast, then regardless of whether one wanted to transcend a reincarnation era or protect one's race or close friends, all would be futile efforts, as everything would be annihilated. Milky Way Horde leader is getting up. Milky Way. Suddenly, there was a commotion. From where he was seated in a cross-legged manner, Luo Feng stood up. His gaze swept through the numerous true gods present. Then slowly, he said, everyone, after this battle, that Sector Beast will not show up again so soon. At least not in this recent period of time. Everyone was taken by surprise. Milky Way Horde leader, what you just said. What do you mean? Once that Sector Beast is dead, does it mean that after a period of time, the other sector beasts will also come out of their nest? No matter what, so long as we can kill one, we are sure to be able to kill more. The numerous true gods were all engaged in discussion. They were all filled with anticipation. If they had managed to kill one sector beast, then it would be a great boost to their confidence. Luo Feng pointed far into midair and drew with his consciousness. Immediately, the battle scene appeared. All of you, take a careful look, and you will understand everything. Scenes of the battle between Luo Feng and Sector Beast replayed before everyone. As for the method of Whirlpool World, it was clearly made public to the audience. To Luo Feng, who was already the #1 being in Universe Ocean, even if he wanted to go public about something, no one could do much to stop him. As for the conversation between Luo Feng and Sector Beast, there was no need nor elaboration. Luo Feng merely provided a brief explanation to update the crowd. It had deteriorated from the third stage to the first stage, said Luo Feng. It is so weak that not a single true god would fear it. Any true god that is slightly more powerful will be able to annihilate it. So, that sector beast will not show up again so soon, at least not for this recent period of time. Silence prevailed. The numerous true gods witnessed the entire battle. Everyone had complex feelings. While they marveled about how powerful Luo Feng was, they were at the same time feeling greatly shocked. That sector beast's means of escape were indeed formidable. Even when trapped in a sealed space, it could actually execute an ultimate survival technique that resembled a portal to make a speedy escape in an instant. Although Sector Beast Morosa seemed to have paid a hefty price to execute this technique, it had, at the very least, managed to stay alive. If he did not kill his enemy, then once the enemy regained all its power, it would stage a comeback. Everything is as expected. Luo Feng said no more as he turned and directly walked into the palace. All that needed to be said had been said. What had to be disclosed had been disclosed. If the true gods of Universe Ocean were so desperate that some had decided to pledge allegiance to the sector beasts, that would also be the choice they made. Amidst the clouds high up in the skies of Earth, a lone figure was seated. How unexpected. He did not succeed. Sitting Mountain Guest was sitting on the clouds as he frowned. The sector beast is unexpectedly quite a tough nut to crack. This sector beast disaster is scarier than I had expected. Now, the sector beasts are still growing up and are not in their final moments. In the future, though, I'm uncertain of whether this disciple of mine will be able to stop them. I have put in such immeasurable efforts. Sitting Mountain Guest revealed a trace of anxiety in his eyes. Purple Moon Holy Land Universe. Purple Moon Ancestor sat on his throne with his eyes shut as he sank into deep thoughts. He was waiting for news about the battle between Luo Feng and the sector beast. Luo Feng, although I really would have rejoiced over your death, it is a fact that we need to rely on you to deal with that sector beast. Even if you bear deep hatred for us, you also have to deal with it. For your humans, for your homeland in the pulse of the earth, you have to deal with it. You have to win. You must win. Purple Moon Ancestor was chanting in his mind. I have cultivated for endless time and transcended reincarnations. Now, I have been met with a greater opportunity. I can become even more powerful, but my miniature universe must never, ever be devoured. The moment that happens, I am truly finished. Also, there is my clan to think of. This is my only worry. Purple Moon Ancestor shut his eyes. He could see very clearly every single space within the entire Purple Moon Holy Land universe. He saw the birth of numerous children and saw them growing up. He saw how they either matured whilst honing their skills in blood and fire or faltered and fell. This was his clan. The clan that gave birth to him. A long, long time ago, he was also just an ordinary member of the clan. But later on, he continued to rise and rise until he became the strongest master of the entire clan. He established his Holy Land universe and was thereafter regarded as a tried-and-true ancestor of his clan. All of them. They are all a part of my clan. The endless years of hard work and effort I've spent. The paths of hard work I've trod. Everything and anything. The moment the sector beast devours my miniature universe and causes my miniature universe to collapse, then everything will ultimately come to an end. Luo Feng. If I can't kill you, you will become my greatest threat. But this time, you have to kill the sector beast. You must. Purple Moon Ancestor was fervently looking forward to the death of the sector beast. Suddenly, the numerous great beings beneath Purple Moon Ancestor transmitted an announcement without delay. Ancestor, we have news. Purple Moon Ancestor opened his eyes suddenly and looked toward the crowd beneath. Has Luo Feng killed the sector beast? No. Someone from the crowd below replied. The sector beast is not dead. It escaped. Purple Moon Ancestor's expression changed drastically. What? This was only a single sector beast that had come out of the sector beast's nest, and yet Luo Feng was unable to kill it. Based on the information given, Luo Feng has gained the absolute upper hand and has caused the sector beast to suffer a great loss of power. Yet, toward the end, that sector beast decided to pay a humongous price to execute just one move. It was a move that seemed to involve something that resembled a portal, through which it instantly transported itself away. The underlings were filled with reverence as they said, At this moment, the power of this sector beast could be so harmless that none of the true gods would be afraid of it at all. Nonsense. Purple Moon Ancestor's face was ghastly pale. Sector beast is weak and small. Would it let you find it? That sector beast will definitely hide while it restores its power. Sector beast, sector beast. Just one sector beast is already such trouble. We don't even know how many more are in the sector beast's nest. This Luophone is just so useless, Purple Moon Ancestor said through gritted teeth. His heart was filled with agony and fear. Just as Purple Moon Ancestor was fuming mad and gritting his teeth, within the other one of Universe Ocean's two great Holy Land universes, East Emperor Holy Land Universe, East Emperor Ancestor was, on the contrary, very much at peace. On that endless great land, East Emperor Ancestor walked about alone, looking at the numerous clansmen living on this great piece of land. I had not expected Luophone to fail in killing the sector beast, East Emperor Ancestor whispered to himself. This is only one sector beast that came out of the sector beast nest. It is highly unlikely to be the strongest. This one is already so difficult to kill. What if there were more sector beasts? In the near future, what if the king of sector beasts finally emerges? However, I should not ask for too much. I have never been the one with the best talent, yet step by step, I have worked my way up to become a true god, eventually attaining the level of a true god of void space. Purple Moon might have met with better opportunities, but his miniature universe is inferior to mine. East Emperor Ancestor shook his head with a laugh. As he recalled the various events that he had undergone over the long years of growing up, East Emperor Ancestor could not help but smile to himself. Facing that sector beast, I am definitely unable to stop it. I can only pin my hopes on Luophone, just like how the willpower of the Origin has pinned its hopes on Luophone. East Emperor Ancestor gave a light-hearted laugh. If Luophone wins, I still stand a chance. If he loses, I can only say that with life comes death. Who can enjoy eternal prosperity? Even for the most powerful nations from the ancient civilization, there came the day when they all had to face destruction. Luophone, East Emperor Ancestor silently waited, hopeful. East Emperor Ancestor, who had lived for eras beyond count, was most peaceful. Meanwhile, Purple Moon Ancestor, who had lived for a much shorter time, was anxious and uneasy and thus, easily irritable. As for the various races of Universe Ocean, in the face of such a great calamity, they certainly displayed a diverse range of reactions. In the Divine Eye Clan, in the universe of First True Master, all 5 true gods of Divine Eye Clan had gathered for a discussion. Just as the 5 were getting anxious about the news that it was extremely difficult to kill that sector beast, they suddenly heard a voice from the group of Universe Masters who had been listening in silence. These Universe Masters seldom voiced their opinions, yet that day, one of them spoke up. "Teacher, we have to consider our race and think of our future." The 5 true gods, including Divine Eye True Master, all turned to look over. "Ink Dragon, what do you mean?" Divine Eye True Master asked with closely knitted brows. Ink Dragon was a newly appointed Universe Master who had been to the world of Jinn to hone his skills. There, he had benefited quite a bit. Also sporting a single-eyed shadow behind him, Ink Dragon Master said with much anxiety, "Teacher, we are from the first reincarnation era. Once this reincarnation era ends, if we have yet to transcend reincarnation, we will be destroyed for eternity." Everyone fell silent. In fact, the Doomsday Crisis applied to every race from the first reincarnation era. When it comes to us fighting the sector beast, so what if we win? Ink Dragon Master asked anxiously. In the end, don't we still have to try our best to transcend reincarnation? The time we, Divine Eye Clan, have left is not a lot. And now that we know this sector beast is so difficult to deal with, if that is the case, then we should just follow the paths of Jinjur Emperor and Dragon Rock Ancestral God. Shut your mouth. Ink Dragon, what are you saying? Divine Eye True Master and 3 true gods shouted angrily all at once. Ink Dragon Master started to speak again in the same anxious manner. "Teacher." "Shut your mouth," Divine Eye True Master ordered coldly. "Divine Eye," the 3 true masters started to say slowly. "What Ink Dragon says. It does make sense. Divine Eye True Master could not help turning around to look at Third True Master angrily. However, Third True Master also held a high position within the race, so there was no way he could ask Third True Master to shut his mouth. How are we going to fight and win against the Sector Beast? Third True Master said. It is a being that represents destruction. Even the willpower of primal origin is scared of it and has thus created a world of jinn just to seek a chance for survival, albeit however slim. The willpower of the primal universe origin had been transmitting messages via the three ancestral gods, yet Luophone was the #1 master of universe ocean instead of the three ancestral gods. Why did the willpower of the origin choose to do so? Because the willpower of the origin also knew that if it were to rely on us, there would be no way the Sector Beast could be stopped. Luophone was the only reliable choice. Now, Luophone is merely a universe master, yet he is already above any of us true gods. When he becomes a true god, there will be hope for us to achieve success. Divine Eye True Master looked at him. You say that Ink Dragon made sense, and then you say Milky Way is our hope. But that is if he becomes a true god, Third True Master said. Up until now, he has yet to achieve his breakthrough, and who knows when that is going to happen. Just one Sector Beast, yet he failed to kill it. Can he really succeed in bringing it down? Even if he did become a true god, what we have is merely hope. To the Sector Beast, Luophone is the one who poses a threat to them, not us. Besides, the Sector Beasts never laid hands on Jinjiao Master and Dragon Rock ancestral gods' miniature universes. Divine Eye True Master continued listening intently. If we were to take the side of the Sector Beast, Third True Master said, then not only will the Sector Beast not attack us, but if it were to stay within our miniature universe, even Luophone would not be able to do anything to us. The willpower of the primal universe origin always relied on other great beings to execute its moves. See Jinjiao Emperor and Dragon Rock Demon God. Aren't they still alive and well? So long as we are not so silly to the extent of initiating provocation from Luophone, like Great Thunderstar Master did, then we will not be annihilated. We should not be bothered about the Sector Beast crisis. Instead, we should put our hearts into cultivation. We should make good use of the final moments we have to try our best to transcend reincarnation. The moment we succeed, eternal victory will be ours to claim. The efforts we put in now, the side we choose. For the sake of transcending reincarnation in the future, it will all be worth it. If we are unable to transcend reincarnation, then fighting the Sector Beast to come to such a tragic end would only prove to be a joke. Divine Eye True Master surveyed the surroundings. Silence prevailed. Quite a few universe masters thought this way, but there were also quite a handful who felt that they should fight the Sector Beast. Divine Eye True Master looked at every one of them, then at the other 4 true gods. From the looks in their eyes, he could understand the thoughts of the other parties. There were those who raised their objections, but there were also others who were agreeable. Although I feel that it is inappropriate to seek refuge with a Sector Beast, 6th True Master said in a low voice, what third brother said has a certain degree of reason. Divine Eye, you decide. We will follow your decision. Divine Eye True Master was so frustrated and pained that he was frowning. With a wave, he dismissed them. Leave, all of you. Let me think about it carefully. The Sector Beast is truly powerful. Killing it for real is going to be too difficult. If the Sector Beast is truly able to spare us, then there is no need for us to create enmity with it. Actually, I'm just worried the Sector Beast will be unwilling to take us in. After all, the Sector Beast needs to devour the origin of a miniature universe. Taking one of us in means it has one less origin to devour. Even if we were to decide to change sides, it might not take us in. If I had the power of Milky Way Horde Leader and were willing to pledge my allegiance, the Sector Beast would most certainly be rejoicing and willing to take me in. Milky Way Horde Leader, you must succeed, Frothflower True God said, standing within her own miniature universe as she looked far into the distance at the people of her race. She was silently praying for the best. No wonder the willpower of the origin also believed in Luophone. Now the Sector Beast is unstoppable by anyone. Only Milky Way Horde Leader had some possibility of success. The demon true gods had gathered in the primal universe. As members of the primal universe, they did not dare to change sides. It was obvious. The primal universe and the sector beasts were opposing groups. Pledging allegiance to the sector beast would mean going against the primal universe. They had, at the very least, lived through 2 reincarnation eras. They did not want to be seen as enemies by the primal universe. There were many different thoughts and emotions hovering about in Universe Ocean. After all, there was no hatred between the various races of Universe Ocean and the sector beast. If the sector beast was willing to take them in and not attack them, then on the premise of knowing that there was little hope in defeating the sector beasts, quite a number of races were naturally willing to change sides. And the races from the primal universe era had many different fears. In the faraway ancestral god palace, the 3 ancestral gods were also receiving messages transmitted over from the willpower of the origin. Sector beast, servant, difficult, disaster. Various messages were transmitted over, and after some time, the 3 ancestral gods opened their eyes. Now, there must be quite a few races that want to take the side of the sector beast. The youngest ancestral god shook his head with a snort. But those foolish fellows. How could they know? Once they become servants to the sector beasts, that is when the true disaster begins. Beside him, the old ancestral god added, now that the willpower of the origin has ordered us to spread the news, it must be hoping that the true gods will think twice and not make a choice they will regret later. This is because, no matter what, races from the other 2 reincarnation eras of Universe Ocean were still children of the primal universe. Actually, there is no need to be so worried, Double-Face Ancestral God said. The willpower of the origin has already informed us that seeking to become a servant of the sector beasts is never easy. After all, the sector beasts will have to devour the origins of various miniature universes in the future. If the true gods that defect to the sector beast side are not powerful enough to be useful to the sector beasts, will the sector beasts still be willing to give up a miniature universe just to take them in? Wanting to change sides was not easy at all. After changing sides, regret was bound to follow. And that would then be a great calamity. The 3 ancestral gods immediately started to spread the news. As the ancestral god school itself consisted of quite a sizable number of true gods, it was easy for them to spread the news quickly throughout the entire Universe Ocean. The moment the news was spread, several races who were originally still filled with uncertainty were dealt with a great shock. Although they did suspect that the willpower of the origin might be lying to them, they were still filled with fear. They were not going to take the gamble so easily. The willpower of the origin is simply too easily agitated, Sitting Mountain Guest said, sitting along the outer wall of Universe Boat with a transmission token in his hand. Shaking his head, he said, whether those true gods lived or died, how does it affect the big picture? When a great calamity truly occurs, the sector beasts will show their scary sides. Then the true gods will understand that this is a truly great calamity that they will not be able to hide from no matter how hard they try. It's just that I am not sure when exactly this disciple of mine will achieve his breakthrough to become a true god. Sitting Mountain Guest expressed his worries. That sector beast might have temporarily disappeared, but now that it has begun, what follows might amount in an endless chain of events, which will most likely be even more brutal and cruel. If Luofeng still does not become a true god. News from the outside world was streaming in. Luofeng was aware of everything happening in the outside world. He was also aware of the various changes, but he was still very much at peace. It had never crossed his mind to change over to take the side of the sector beasts. Because, judging by the clues found within the world of Jinn, not a single nation wanted to defect to the side of the sector beasts. Apparently, they were all worried that by siding with the sector beasts, their fates would be just as what the message of the willpower of the origin had predicted, an impending disaster. Back. Luofeng stood within Star Tower as he looked outside. From afar, he could already see the immeasurable primal universe membrane wall, as the chaotic airflow was no longer able to obscure his line of vision. This was Luofeng's first trip back to the primal universe onboard Star Tower since the sector beast first appeared. He had to send the blood of the sector beast back to his boundless remoteness ocean in order for remote ocean to execute its talent technique creation, to study and thoroughly comprehend the diagram of its life structure. I hope that through this I can achieve a breakthrough and finally become a true god. Luofeng earnestly looked forward to achieving his goal. This video will end here.